Hey, welcome to Sports Unfolded, episode 9 of season 2. Love that intro now. That definitely gets it pumped up. I'm your
Oh,
host, Eric.
absolutely.
Main man over there, Ron.
Yep,
How are
you
you?
were wrong again.
I know. I can't get it right. I never get it right.
Almost.
So close every week. Every week. So, obviously, a lot to unfold this week in the sports world. We are going to start off with the big story coming out of Duke University, and that would be Coach Mike Krzyzewski, who will be coaching in his last game at home for Duke after an amazing 42-year career at Duke. Overall, your impressions of Coach K, who's on the screen right now.
Well, yeah, he's going to be on the screen right now.
There he is.
Um, well, he's been a constant figure in college basketball. As far as we know, I mean, I don't know of any really major problems that has come his way. And if it did, then he handled it, and well enough that people don't know about it. You
Yeah.
know,
So again, to your point, very quiet career where it came to scandals. I can remember one way back where I think it was a drunk driving case where the kid got his license. You know what I mean? Not taken away or suspended because he was a Duke player. Something to that effect. Nothing crazy though. Nothing
yeah, that's
like some of these
that.
scandals
Look,
that we've seen in the past with some of these.
a college student. I mean, that is nothing to me. I mean,
Yeah.
it's not smart by no means. But I mean, that's that
Yeah.
happens all the time.
Yeah. So if I looked at some of the numbers. So with Duke, just Duke alone, 1,429 games he coached, 1,123 wins, with only 306 losses,
Yeah, that's pretty impressive.
15 ACC championships, 12 Final Four appearances, 5 national titles. He had 9 goals and 2 bronze with the U.S. national team as well.
So, where would you put him among coaches? And I mean just coaches of any sport.
Yeah, I would say he's in the top 5. I would have to say he's in the top 5. Just the talent that he developed. When you talk about some of the players, the Christian Leitners, the Grant Hills, the Jay Williams, the 3 of the guys we're going to talk about in the triple play today, but Zion, who's now in the NBA, he's been able to go through 42 years, and it's changed. College basketball isn't the same. A lot of it's one and done. They're lucky you get these kids for 2-3 years now, and they're out of the league. He was back when it was a 4-year project and you
Right.
worked this kid up, and
Yeah.
he was able to do it that and during that era and to today. So again, listen, the Boston Celtics have Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
He came from Duke. And again, here we go. Another young kid came out early, but you can see the talent and what he was able to develop from college to make sure they were quality pros. So
Yeah, and
I said,
that's another thing that gets overlooked a lot of times. It's the quality of the human coming out of that program. Like, I mean, when you look at it, like you can just look at Jason Tatum. He's not
yeah, we don't
over
have
the
much.
top and always running his mouth and stuff like that. But you look at all these players, Grant Hill, another one, just calm. He grew up and he's a good human. So that's what you're seeing coming out of that program, and that is a good thing. He's not bringing out bullies. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, he definitely teaches them to be respectful first, respect the game, respect people.
Yeah.
One of the stories I heard is, just how he would teach you life lessons that regardless if you play basketball after college, you were going to have an opportunity to be to your point, a good human outside of basketball.
Yeah, and it
And
seems like
I
a
think,
lot of those players can also, further their career inside the broadcast booth because they're well spoken. So they have, you know, more options to stay in the game as
yeah,
well.
yeah. And some details on the game. So this is going to be a very interesting game tomorrow night. Average ticket over $5,300.
Oh my
Fourth
word!
fourth highest of all time 3 Super Bowls are ahead of it, and that's it,
Wow.
which is insane. They're saying the highest ticket right now is going for over $50,000.
And that's just to see him coach the last
Just
game
the
at home.
last game at Cameron.
Yeah.
You think about what he's meant to that program and Duke. And listen, we've lost a lot of good coaches due to retirement. Roy Williams last year.
Yeah.
And again, another coach that, if you talk about just the resume and their careers, but Coach K, by far, one of the best college coaches of all time. I mean, I would probably put him, but John Wooden?
Yeah, I mean, there's slim company.
It's very, after that, I mean, I would put him second, third. I couldn't really, I can't even think of a second.
I'm not even sure I'd put him number 2, to be honest with you. I'm not sure. Just because of not only the longevity and the wins, the win-loss percentage. Like I said, it's the actual program itself.
Yeah, and he coached at Navy or Army? Navy.
Yeah,
first. And it was he only coached a few years, but his win percentage overall, 76%.
Yeah, that's craziness.
And you're talking about 40 plus years to win 75 or more percent of your games. It's pretty impressive. We're doing our prediction, and we're in the 50s.
You're talking about a select group of coaches, in any sport. Just to have that kind of a record, I mean, it's certainly not going to be in baseball. Nobody in baseball can do that, You're looking at maybe basketball and football are the only 2 sports where you can compete with those numbers.
Yeah, and not even close. I tell you what, Belichick's at 60-something%.
Yeah.
So consider him the greatest coach right now in the NFL.
Right. So you look at those numbers, and it's pale in comparison to what Coach K has done. And
so I'm excited to watch that. See his reaction. I want to see, does he show emotion?
What's the game? Who they playing?
North Carolina.
That's what I thought. That's why I was like, when I was putting the colors up, and I was like thinking North Carolina.
Yeah, we went with Duke Blue today.
Yes.
Duke Blue. Dan, thanks for joining. NFL. Let's move on to the NFL. So great job, Coach K. Great career. Well, hopefully we get to see him, what he does in the tournament too. So let's just remember he's still got a little bit of time left. We're on the NFL, and the NFL, a lot is going on even just today, and Amari Cooper is likely to be released by the Dallas Cowboys. Do you agree with the move?
First of all, I think it's dumb. Why would you get rid of him?
20 million reasons.
Yeah.
So he's guaranteed $20 million after March 20th, 5 days after the new league year starts. And obviously they're not going to pay him $20 million guaranteed. It's all guaranteed.
No, I mean, I understand the point of doing that, but after last season, how it ended for the Dallas Cowboys, the last thing you need is to take away pieces from that offense that bumbled the playoffs.
Manny has joined us, and I know Manny, he is a Dallas Cowboy fan, so I'm sure
he's got to be livid.
Yes, he's not surprised, he says, because it's the Cowboys. And I looked at it in a couple different ways. If you look at what he means to Dak, Dak struggles without him on the court, on the field. Yeah. And if you look at from a standpoint of the completion percentage, his QBR, Dak Prescott, this is a bad decision by the Dallas Cowboys not to try to work something out to maybe extend him versus releasing him. And the reason why they released him is because they've tried to make trade offers and nobody wanted to pick up that $20 million. Now he's able to go out into the free agent market, sign for whatever he wants to. There's going to be a team, obviously, that signs him because he's still a quality wide receiver. Last year, some injuries, 68 receptions, 865 yards, and 8 touchdowns. But he's a 1,000-yard receiver, 80-plus catches normally when he's healthy. I'm questioning why at this point, when Dallas honestly probably had their best season in quite some time, you would decide to get rid of, Amari Cooper at this point when you need him.
Yeah, look, and Manny, I think he hit the nail on the head right there. Um, the guy that they should have released is their
Don't even
running
think
back.
that.
You know,
Yeah.
I'm telling you, that's the guy that they should have released because look, like the league has already proven that running backs can be a dime a dozen. Like you can find a running back. It is a lot easier to find a running back that can do enough in that offense, and you already have a guy that's second on that depth chart
Yeah.
that could take that spot and do enough
I,
to release. Zeke is probably the best option instead of the receiver. But I know the $20 million is there. But it's that's this is going to Dallas is going to be a mess. I think
yeah, I
unless
don't
they
think you.
re-sign
Yeah,
somebody.
I don't think you replace him. His numbers, what he meant, and I think he also made a lot of those other wide receivers better.
Yeah,
And I
yeah,
think
but
you know what I mean. Was a CD Lamb.
but
Having an Amari Cooper on the other side of the field
right, right,
definitely takes some pressure off for some of the other guys. And to your
yeah,
point, look, I'm not saying they should have got rid of Zeke, but they should have at least tried to explore how they could have worked this contract out to
right,
keep him. I think to hurt Dak in this way at this point doesn't make sense because I truly believe they were on the cusp of possibly being a Super Bowl contender. We've made jokes in the past, but this was as close as I think I've seen them where I said, look, they finally figured out on defense what they need to do. You got Micah Parsons, who's one of the best young
right.
linebackers in the game today. So you have a stud on defense. You've got your number one quarterback. You had a number one wide receiver. If Zeke could even perform at 75% of what he was, to me, they're a contender.
Yeah,
And now you just got rid of a giant piece of that. I feel like the Cowboys take a step back, may not even win the NFC East with this move if they don't replace him properly.
yeah. And look, we know how hard it is to find a piece in the NFL. It's not easy because there's so many details on how to get the right pieces. Look, we know that Cooper was performing when he was in there. He was the offense was a fine-tuned machine until you know the postseason.
Yeah.
But that's preparation. That's a preparation problem.
It's more coaching than anything. To
Yeah,
your
that's what
point,
I
if they
mean.
had a better coach, they win that game.
Yeah,
They win that game in the playoffs.
right.
And we're not having this conversation because I think
No.
they got to the NFC Championship game.
Yeah. So you'll look at this now. If they don't replace Cooper, uh, like you said, there's going to be a step back, and you might replace him with someone, but they might not have that cohesiveness that Cooper and Dak had,
Yeah.
and that is important as well because you could have great receivers and you might not have a connection with that quarterback. Look at Cleveland with Beckham. You look at the Patriots when they've had these all stars come in and they haven't been able to do it. It's the same thing.
Yeah, it's very rare. Again, they've 4 years together. You saw the cohesiveness, as you said. It just makes sense that they would have tried to keep them. So the interesting part of this, and we're going to move on to another team that to me starting to sound like or look like the Rams of this season, where they're going to try to load up to win a Super Bowl, and that's going to be the Buffalo Bills. So Amari Cooper, I wouldn't be surprised his name gets mentioned here as well, because there's been some names mentioned for Buffalo and possibly signing with Buffalo. One of them being Rob Gronkowski
Yeah.
in a possible trade for Saquon Barkley. They are trying to add pieces. Now, Saquon, obviously, with the injuries, has not been what we expected him to be. He's only had one good year. But the potential is there for him to still be a top-notch running back, and especially in that kind of offense. If you think about what they could possibly do with those kind of pieces with Stephon Diggs, and now in the draft, that would change their whole complexion of they're probably just looking on the defensive side of the ball. They're going to lose some guys and maybe on the offensive line. Buffalo, to me, is one piece away from going to the Super Bowl. I can't see them not trying to sign some of these guys. I mean, how do you feel about it?
No, well, like you said, they might not even have been one piece away. Like a play here or there, and it's different.
Yeah.
So they might have had the pieces. They might have just came up a little short
Are you bringing up
on
the
some of the
overtime
plays.
rules change again?
Yes, yes,
Okay.
yes. The
Right.
overtime rules stinks.
Yeah. So I think honestly, if they're smart, they're going all in on this.
Yeah,
Full throttle.
I think.
Pick up
Look,
whatever pieces. Listen, and a
they
lot of these guys will sign for less because they know you're close.
right, and that's the thing. So some of these guys that are free agents, I think, are going to re-sign, and maybe for a little less towards the cap and a little more in their pocket.
Yeah,
You
more
know,
guaranteed contracts. Yeah.
so 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 they'll take less because they want to win a Super Bowl, and they might do some of those players might do a 1-year deal just for that reason,
Yeah, I could see
and
it.
then hope it all pans out, and then they get a huge contract at the end of the season because they know they're close. Yes, they have Kansas City to go through again, and they have Cincinnati that looks like they're going to be for real. I know a lot of critics are saying, it was just a one shot deal, but I think they're for real. I think, they're going to be back at it again next year. And, and you'll have a couple of other teams that are going to contend as well.
So here's an
So,
interesting piece, though, and it's just got announced as well. Cole Beasley has requested a trade, and the Buffalo Bills have granted him permission to seek a trade.
you see, I don't understand why he wants to be traded.
I have no idea,
It's like you're
but
close to winning a championship. What are you
I would say
doing?
this: if New England is smart, you're pouncing on this quick. I know it's a division rival. They may not want to trade with you. It's going to be very difficult to pull off a trade. But if possible, what are we lacking in our offense that we didn't have last year? The Julian Edelmans,
Yeah.
the Wes Welker, the Troy Brown, that slot receiver that just takes some pressure underneath away and able to do some things that we weren't able to do last year. I like Jacoby Myers. He's not a slot guy. If New England's smart, if this kid wants out, he fits the mold perfectly with that kind of offense.
Yeah.
So that would be a piece that you take away from Josh Allen. That's pretty big. Right? And Manny just said it. Beasley's very underrated. He does a lot for you.
Yeah, but there's only one problem with that. It's a division rival, and they are not going to trade him to the Patriots.
Look, stranger things have happened.
It's not going to happen.
We trade Lawyer Malloy to the Buffalo.
Okay, that was when we knew that Buffalo was not a contender.
Yeah, but they might look at us the same way now. Who says that Buffalo's looking at New England that way?
They don't.
So there you go. They blew us out by 30 points in the playoffs. They might just say, yeah, take the guy. He's not going to do anything for you.
I mean, if the Patriots could pull it off, that would be great. It's not going to happen because there's no way Buffalo wants to trade anything to New England under any circumstance because they know that it may only take one player to make New England a contender.
Yeah.
Because
right. So,
Belichick is that good.
So this is the great segue of what do the Patriots look for in the draft? So obviously the combines have started. We've seen a lot of things going on with some of the players that are in there. What should the Patriots be looking for in the draft that will help this team next season take the next step? Right?
There's a few positions.
Next step.
Yeah, because they have they've got some issues, and linebackers and the offensive line are the two things that are glaring. And you can even throw in a defensive lineman. But I think linebacker and I think an offensive lineman are two really important pieces. I know we need a receiver. I know we need a receiver.
Did a mock draft.
But
Tight end.
The
No,
Patriots
why do you need a
don't
tight end?
draft well
Hun-
in receivers,
Yeah,
and
Hunter
it's
Henry.
almost pointless.
Hunter Henry, Dan. We don't need a tight end right now.
No, we don't.
I did a mock draft, and
Oh
as I was
boy.
doing the mock draft, Nakobe Dean, linebacker from Georgia,
Yeah.
should be available at the 21st pick.
Right.
When you talk speed, you talk all over the field. This kid, if they're smart, again, linebacker, you're right. I was able to get in the second round John Michie, the third wide receiver from Alabama.
Yeah, I know who
Now
he is too.
you build up just like Chase and Burrow did in Cincinnati. You give Mac Jones a receiver he knows, feels comfortable with, and can stretch the field. All of a sudden, you've just changed the whole complexion of the team.
Yeah, because you're getting a linebacker that he's not going to come out and be the impact of like Parsons. He's going to be pretty good though.
Yeah,
he's going to be pretty good.
He can't be any worse than what they have now. Because you're talking about aging linebackers who don't have any speed.
No, Hightower needs to go. Like he's just awful this past season.
Yeah,
awful.
Hightower's done. Van Noy to me is
a good piece to come off.
Part-time player. Like you put him in key situations. I could see it.
And
Jamie
to spell,
Collins, if they
the main guys
again, right? But yeah, all the top guys you need. We need to upgrade that position. But don't forget, listen, if I'm also one of these scouting personnel from the Patriots, I'm sitting my butt down in a seat and I'm watching some cornerbacks because J.C. Jackson's walking. It's the writing's on the wall. They're not going to franchise him. He's looking for $100 million plus a year. It ain't going to happen in New England. It is not going to happen. And then offensive line, Trent Brown, we're not sure if they're going to be able to sign that tackle. And we saw what the Rams did to Burrow in the Super Bowl with a young quarterback. If you don't have somebody to protect him, especially on his blind side, it's going to be a long year for Mac Jones, and he takes a step back. We don't need him to regress.
Yeah, and Mac Jones is not fleet of foot either.
Yeah, yes.
like Burrow can run a little. Mac Jones is not a runner.
Dan Olvale of Ohio State. What position does he play, Dan? So, again, I think New England, look, there's a couple of pieces, but as I did that mock draft, I said, these guys fall. And Michie had the injury, so he's going to be available.
Yeah.
He's going to be available. So New England, if they're smart, especially those four positions, linebacker, wide receiver, cornerback, and offensive line. I agree with you on the offensive line piece. I think the defensive line, they're pretty well set. Barmore is going to be a legit player. He seems like he's good.
Oh yeah,
we did all right. Maybe a pass rush at the end. Maybe
that's what I was kind of referring to.
Yeah, gotcha.
But look, it's like they might even address the line through free agency, so they might not go and draft one.
Yeah, they could. Listen, so they don't have a lot of money to spend, so they're going to have to figure that out as well.
Like you can go out, get a cornerback, and hope that he plays as well. Like J.C. Jackson. If he can replace, if they can replace somebody that can grow into that position throughout the course of the season, that's doable as well. Because you're not just going to go and sign somebody, as a free agent. Because if that was the case, then you'd just re-sign J.C. Jackson.
Yeah.
So yeah, you could draft somebody and hope that they, build up through that draft. But again, if you don't have a pass rush, then not having that cornerback is going to make it doubly worse.
Yeah. And if you're a bad cornerback, you're susceptible because if you're not getting to the quarterback, that just gives the wide receiver more time.
Exactly.
So, yeah, I can see where you're going. All right, my friend, let's move on to the triple play. And we were going to keep in the spirit of the Duke Blue Devils and Coach K. We decided we were going to rank 3 of Duke's all-time greats. And that would be Christian Laettner, Grant Hill, and Jay Williams. And we're only doing it from their college career. So obviously, when they hit the pros, out of the 3, Grant was the only one that actually did anything in the pros. So your pro career, college career, who you starting, who you benching, who you cutting? You're first this week.
Yeah. Oh joy. So
not an easy one.
No, it's not. But I'm gonna go with Christian Leitner as my starter because look at his college career.
That
Like
shot in the
that
Meadowlands,
shot,
New Jersey.
that shot. That's all
They
I
show
need.
that no matter what year, what tournament, that shot
Yep,
always gets shown. You'll
that's right.
never not remember that shot.
That's right, and that's why I go with Christian Leitner as my starter. The other two, kind of as a toss up for me. Um, but I'm gonna go Jay Williams as my bench.
Okay.
Um, and hard to believe that I'm cutting Grant Hill,
Yes, I am surprised
but
on this one.
but you know I just like what the other two bring to the table as far as college career.
Yeah, and that's all
Obviously,
we're
Grant
talking about.
Hill grew
Yeah,
into
a pro.
something
Yeah,
like way better.
and you
He's
think about
an all
if
star.
Grant Hill didn't have the injuries he had in the pros,
Yeah.
we'd be talking about him as like that Kobe type
Yep.
of player. Like he was
Absolutely.
just dominant, and
Absolutely.
unfortunately, injuries definitely derailed his career
Yeah.
at some point. But love the list. I thought that was great, but I'm going to tell you you're wrong.
Yeah. Of course you are because you think you're right, and
No, I know I'm right,
no, no,
and I'm going
no.
to tell you why. So I'm starting Christian Lane. I agree with you.
Yeah.
I think just
It's
what
the
he
one that
brought
matters.
in college, what he was able to do 16.6 points, 7.8 rebounds, 1.8 assists, two championships. So he
Yep.
won two championships with Duke. But you got to bench Grant Hill. All around player, 14.9, 6 rebounds, 3.6 assists, also a two-time champ.
Yep.
So when you look at it that way, both of them won. Jay Williams actually averaged more points per game in
Yeah.
college than both of these, 19.3, which I didn't know.
Right.
And
That's why I'm taking him.
but he only won one championship. So I went with the other two because of the two championships. I'd want, again, in my college career, it's short. You only get, if you're lucky, 4 years out of a player. I'm getting 50% of that time I'm winning a championship with those two. And that's the way I looked at it. But listen, they're all tremendous college players.
Yeah.
When you
I
talk
went
about
with the
college,
points. Points coming off the bench.
yeah,
That's why I went with
I got you.
Williams. You
Listen,
know.
we all coach a different way. We're all different GMs.
Yeah.
We all look at things differently. That's
Yeah.
what makes sports fun. That's
I
what makes
guess
sports fun.
unless you have a bad GM,
Yes, that's a good call. Good call on that one as well. So
Buffalo.
let's wow.
Not Buffalo Bills,
No,
Buffalo Sabres.
Sabres, the
Yeah.
hockey, NHL, throwing some shots here.
Yeah.
Let's talk some NBA.
Okay.
What do you think about Durant returning to the Nets last night in the loss? Should the Nets be concerned about their playoff outlook?
I don't think so because don't they have other guys that they got to come back to.
So
So
this is the concern. Kyrie,
yeah.
part-time. Ben Simmons, we're unsure of what's going on. If the playoffs were to start today and it was a one-game play-in, they'd be playing in Toronto, which means Kyrie Irving could not play. If Durant is the only one that's got to carry the team, and we saw it last night, he came back and looked like Kevin Durant. 30 points. He was efficient.
Such a good player.
They had a 16-point lead that they allowed to a comeback, and unfortunately, in his return, you're asking him to do a lot. Look, they're 32 and 32. They're 10 games behind first place. So obviously, first place in the East, they're nowhere near that. They're not going to happen.
Yeah.
They're only one game ahead of Charlotte and Atlanta,
Mm-hmm.
which would take them out of the playoffs.
Right.
Right? 2.5 ahead of Washington in 12th. So I looked at strength of schedule. Washington and Atlanta both have an easier schedule than Brooklyn. Charlotte has the 22nd hardest remaining. But again, nobody over 500. None of these teams play each other the rest of the year as well. So that, to me, puts Brooklyn at a disadvantage because you'd want to play these teams and beat these teams because then you kind of ensure your own destiny. Now you're playing other teams, that you have to hope these other teams beat them. I'm a little concerned that they don't make the playoffs. As crazy as it sounds, to me, not having all three of them, and even when they come back, we don't even know what they look like together because they never get to play with each other.
Well, so you're talking that this team might be the most disappointing team in the history of the league.
I would put them two right behind the Lakers. This year's Lakers.
I don't know if I'd put them behind the Lakers this year. I don't know if I'd do that because look, this team was supposed to win it. Look, this team with Durant and when they had Harden, and Irving, okay, like there was no question that they thought they had the championship team, and they thought they were going to do this last year, and they didn't do it. And this year has been a complete disaster. Between injuries and people not wanting to be there, and it's just another excuse every single game. And here we are. Now we're talking they might not even make the playoffs. And if they don't, that would be a disaster. A disaster.
Yeah, I agree, because then you got to break them up. You can't afford to keep trying to keep these two together and add a third piece.
And then you got to wonder, okay, so what's Kevin Durant thinking? Like, if this blows up and he doesn't make the playoffs this year, he's going to be livid because he won't want to be there.
Can I say, I know it was down to two teams when he finally made his decision to go to Brooklyn.
Made the wrong one.
The second team was Boston.
I know.
If you think about him and Tatum right now together,
yeah,
with Jaylen Brown,
yeah,
they're contending for a championship.
Yeah.
And he's got players that are actually going to be on the court.
Absolutely.
He allowed Kyrie to talk him into going to Brooklyn.
And he's got players that will want to be there.
Yeah.
Because Tatum and Brown would have loved Kevin Durant to sign there. Because they wanted him. They wanted him. And, and it's like you look at the pieces. Like if you're signing Kevin Durant as a free agent, you're not giving anything up. So you got those pieces in place and adding Kevin Durant, like...
Yeah, he definitely made the wrong choice.
He did make the wrong choice. Like
And unfortunately, he's going to regret it because I think they missed the playoffs. I think it's a legit possibility.
It is a possibility because when you break it all down, it is possible.
When we talk about a leadoff story, that would be our leadoff story. The Brooklyn Nets did not make the playoffs.
And
after that cast,
they have Boston coming up.
Yeah.
Now they've just gotten destroyed by Boston a couple of times, correct?
Yeah. Boston's looked very good against them.
Now
no
they have
Durant. No Durant.
Yes, no Durant, but
Kyrie will be playing in that game because it's in Boston.
Right. So there is no excuse after that.
Yeah.
Okay. Now, do I think they're going to put it together and win? Yeah, I think they will win that game because they're not going to want to. I think they're going to play godlike, to be honest with you. Because after the trouncing that they received from them the last couple of games, there's going to be some payback. But if they don't win that game,
So let's talk about another East team that we're really excited about. We'll bring up the two players that are currently on that team. And they just signed DeAndre Jordan. He cleared waivers. Do you think the Sixers are going all in now for a playoff run with this move?
Well, this is basically what Brooklyn tried to do last year by signing players that, and it didn't work out for Brooklyn. And it still may not be working out for Brooklyn. But I don't know. This gives them that third guy that Jordan, they really needed.
Listen, Jordan's only averaging 4 points, 5.4 rebounds.
Yeah, but that's not what he brings to the table.
No, this is
the
what
third guy might not look. That third guy in Chicago, remember, was Dennis Rodman.
Yeah,
that was the third guy.
Energy, defense.
He's not going to light up with points, but what he brings to the table is something else.
This is how I looked at it. Embiid is averaging 33 minutes a game. That's 3 more minutes than he has in his career. This gives them a guy now who's playing about 12 minutes a game to spell Embiid, give him some rest so he's ready for the playoffs and not injured.
Right.
To me, this is the smartest move that any GM can make. I'm going to take my star player and I'm going to tell you, look, I'm going to give you less time because I got a guy in here now that can do not exactly what you can do, but he can do pretty close to what you can do. He can get us some
Hold the
rebounds.
fort
He can
down
play big,
defensively.
right? And that's all you're looking for. To me, this is a great move. And if you think about what the team around them now, Harden, Harris, Tobias Harris has played out of this world, especially with Harden. Maxey has come on now as a player that is just turned a corner and become a legitimate, superstar in this league as well.
Yeah.
For them.
Yeah.
And they still get Curry. So
I know. I still can't believe that one.
All four of those players are averaging over 15 points a game. Obviously, Harden 20, 25, I think, and Embiid's at like 28, 29. And now you just give me a guy who can spell my best guy and give him less time so I can rest him for the last 20 games or so and be able to go full throttle in the playoffs.
Yeah, because you want him to, with Embiid, you build up a lead, so to speak, and when you have a comfortable lead.
You're like Eminem right now. Embiid building up a lead. Oh,
that's what I do. That's what I do. So he comes in when you have a lead, and as long as he's playing solid defense and rebounding, that's what you need because while Embiid is on the seat, you got Curry that can come in, and you have Harden.
I'm just
three.
I'm just spitting rhymes right now.
And and then you've got something really coming off that bench, and the bench. Look, we all know it's not the stars that are going to win. The championship.
Yeah,
it's what that bench does coming off the bench because the stars are going to cancel each other out. Like most of them all have 3. Most of them, not the Celtics, but should have, but
pretty close.
But you know what? So they cancel each other out, and it's that bench that wins the game.
Listen, in 2007, when the Boston Celtics won the championship, they picked up James Posey.
Yeah.
In a trade, and his presence off the bench and what he meant to that team was far more than what Garnett, Pierce, and Allen were doing, because that's where they struggled, is when they had these guys come off the bench. Who was the guy? And that's what they ended up doing. So I agree with you. I think this, to me, I think the Boston Celtics are a legit contender. The one team I am fearful of right now in the East, though, is the Philadelphia 76ers. I think they've put together such a good team now. They have to be the favorites to win the East. They have to be.
Yeah, I mean, that's a big piece to pick up. I mean, who's going to argue with that?
Miami, I just don't trust it. I think they're good. I don't trust it. Milwaukee has not been the same Milwaukee we saw in the playoffs. Again, maybe they can turn the switch on and be that playoff team.
They also have guys that can come off that bench as well. Yep. So, when I look at it, looks like it could be Philadelphia and Milwaukee taking it to the house, because that bench, whoever's bench performs the best, is going to go to the championship.
Yeah,
and that's what it's going to come down to.
Yeah, listen, it's going to be a fun last month or so, a month and a half of basketball.
And that's another reason why it's going to be difficult for KD to get there, because
listen, so much ground now.
Yeah,
you're trying to make up ground. You don't want to. First of all, you got to play an extra game now, just to get in the playoffs. And you don't even know if you're going to have one of your players there, and not because of injury, because he may not be able to play in that city or town.
Right.
So I listen. I love what Philly did, and I'm not a 76. Believe me, if you're a Boston Celtic fan, you can't like the Sixers.
So here's a conspiracy theory. Do you think a city will go out of its way to make it so that way Kyrie can't play in that city?
No. Unless, again, listen, as you start to see the COVID, a lot of COVID protocols, though, are starting to step way back.
Oh, I know they are, but it could
unless
spark up again,
I'm
and
almost that I'm the conspiracy theorist that thinks New York's going to change it prior
just
to the
so he can
playoffs
play.
so
Oh
that he
yeah,
can play.
oh yeah,
So
absolutely.
I wouldn't be surprised to see that happen more than the latter, unless again you get a spike. I mean, do they throw
So it's
fake
going to
numbers
be
out?
interesting.
Maybe they throw fake numbers out and say, "Look, we had a spike, and we have you
Yeah,
have to be vaccinated."
I, I
I,
wouldn't put it past anyone.
we'll have
Seriously.
to venture down that road when it happens.
Yeah.
Listen, if you like what you're watching, check us out every Friday night. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We are on at 6 p.m. every night on Friday. We are live and fan interactive. So if you respond, we've had Dan and Manny jump in tonight, and then they've been great. They love football, but we cover all topics. If you want to check us out on social media, we're at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. Don't have time to watch, check us, listen to us on our podcast, Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify, and now TuneIn. We are now on TuneIn as well. If you're in Southeast Connecticut, check us out on SEC TV. That's public access, channel 12. We are on Tuesday nights at 10 p.m. So if you're watching that now, check us out on Friday nights at 6 p.m. We're really excited. If you'd like to sponsor the show, we are still actively looking for sponsors. We need sponsors. Rhode Island RI Broadcasting.media at gmail.com. It's less than a cup of Starbucks coffee. Thousands of eyes will be on your business daily. The best possible promotions you can get by literally giving us not much at all. Join us on Discord as well. We love Discord so much. We post all of our stuff on Discord as well. Those links are right up there now. Just follow those links and join us on our Discord site. So Sports Unfolded Discord, Rhode Island Broadcasting Discord. And Rhode Island Broadcasting give you all the shows. If you want just Sports Unfolded exclusive, check us out on that Sports Unfolded as well. But we're everywhere now. There's nowhere we're not trying to be.
Yep. And VOH.com. So we got that started up, and hopefully some more places very, very soon. I'm working on 3 or 4 more.
Excellent.
So
1 day left as well to cast your votes.
Yes.
For our March Madness tournament. So if you haven't done this, check us out on our website. Scratch that. Check us out on Facebook because I have not put it on our website. But you can get all the links on the Facebook or Twitter. And join right. It's free. It's free to join. We're voting 64 of the top athletes from the 1980s to now, and who will be the greatest athlete of all time in that era. So you're talking about a good 40 years.
Yeah.
Who's the best in the last 40 years? Make sure you vote. This is basically our March Madness tournament. We are dying to see. There's some close races out there right now and some really interesting upsets that may happen.
I'm posting one of the links right now.
That's the West. So if you're on right now, click that link.
Yeah. So, and all you have to do is change the West to North, South, or East, and you can get all the brackets that way. And just as a quick check, we have in that West is Magic Johnson is beating Jimmy Johnson. So we have Kobe Bryant and Diana Taurasi going up against each other, and that is tied right now.
50-50 right now, right?
That is tied. So all you Kevin Durant fans better get up there because Jerry Rice is winning. So look, they're votes. You gotta vote to keep your favorite in.
Yeah.
So, and there's a lot of great athletes. There is no matchup that is not a great matchup.
Not easy.
Tiger Woods versus John Elway.
Yeah. If you don't vote by tomorrow, you're unable to vote in the 64.
Right.
So then we're at the 32 mark. So if you want to make sure one of these athletes still get in and advance to the next round, make sure you vote by tomorrow. And we will post these links again tomorrow as the final day before we post to our 32.
Yeah, it actually gets switched tomorrow morning.
Oh, so today's the last day.
So get in there today. Get
All
in
right.
there today. That would probably be the wisest thing. And remember, once you vote on West, just type in East or South or North, and you can see all the athletes. So they are from all over the place. So so you're gonna have players, soccer players, Beckham. You
Beckham,
know,
Cristiano Ronaldo. You
yep,
got NASCAR in there with Jimmy Johnson.
absolutely.
So a little
So
bit of everything.
everything.
Olympics. Michael Phelps is in
Yep,
there.
Usain Bolt.
Yep. Jackie Joyner
So
Kersey.
oh yes,
I mean, we got them all. We got them all in there. So check that out and vote. Make sure you vote. Today's the last day.
and then we go on to
The
32.
32.
Cannot
NHL
wait.
time, my hockey guru. Know how excited you
NHL.
are. So there's been a trade. San Jose Sharks traded for goalie Alex Stalak from Edmonton. Looks like as a backup role. But what are some of your anticipated moves that may be coming this week? Let me throw a couple names first. Are these guys moving this week? Marc-Andre Fleury,
That's a possibility for this week.
JT Miller,
Probably not. Not this week.
last day deal. Okay,
That might be at the very end because Vancouver's got to decide whether they're going to sell or not. They got to
5
decide.
by pizza time. Thank you so much.
Pizza, which I might have to order some pizza tonight. Now that you said it.
Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles too. So, love
well, I wouldn't mind them bringing me the pizza. But look, first of all, that San Jose trade, to me, that signifies they're trading one of their goaltenders. Now I looked at their goaltending. They have Hill, Reamer, and Sorchenko. Sorchenko seems to be taking the spot away from them. So my guess is Rima is or Reimer, however you want to say it, or Raymer.
Potato. Yeah.
He is probably going to be the one to get traded. If people are interested in getting a goaltender as a backup, I don't think a team that needs a goaltender to win is going to get him. He is strictly as a safety precaution for a team. So it'd be like a third rounder, maybe second. I doubt second, but probably a third rounder for a goaltender of their caliber. So that trade was because they're going to move somebody. And so that could happen real soon. So they didn't make that deal just because they want four goaltenders. They made that deal because somebody's going. Maybe two of them. So they could trade Hill and Reamer. So that's why that trade was made. There's a lot of jockeying with players right now.
Yeah.
So, it's when is the first chip going to fall? And like we had just mentioned, JT Miller, I don't expect that to happen anytime soon.
Yep, and it makes sense. Yep, I mean, the
So
quality of player you're getting usually it's towards the end of the
right.
deadline where people are desperate and they maybe give you more than what
exactly.
So some of those big players. Is there one player we should be looking for this week that you think would definitely be on the market?
Well,
Or
I
off the
think,
market as well.
You're looking at players like Cal Clutterbuck, a team that could make a splash could be Minnesota, because I truly believe that Cal Clutterbuck is going to go to Minnesota. I know the Rangers are interested in him. I don't see him going to the Rangers. It's not going to because they're going to look for bigger things, so they're going to have to wait a little to get the bigger guys. So again, like in Boston, Jake DeBrusk, that trade, him asking for a trade is still on the table. So he has not rescinded that request. and which is too bad because he's playing so well now. Um, I think you could see Toronto trying to make a pitch um, for players like Jacob Chikrin or Ben Chirot. I don't think they're not gonna get Ben Chirot, and I think they pretty much already know that. So I'm expecting PK Subban to be unloaded, and he could be the first defenseman unloaded. Um, so probably look for that because I know Toronto needs to get help on defense, and that that seems to be what I believe could happen. Is Toronto getting him first? So my prediction is Toronto is going to draw first blood on the top players.
Yeah.
Um, and I think that's where it's going to go. And then a couple other players could move. Somebody like a Mark Giordano, that could be one of the players that get moved, relatively soon because people are going to want their defensemen, and I think
Yeah.
they're going to overpay for them now than
Then wait.
then get desperate and to get them. So PK Subban and I would say Giordano could be the first two pieces moved.
This week.
Other than that,
Upcoming
Cal
week.
Clutterbuck as a forward could be the first one to go on that. I don't think those bigger forwards like Claude Giroux, Phil Kessel, I think and JT Miller and Jake DeBrusque will all come later on.
Yeah. Yeah, it makes sense. You're right. It makes sense.
And with Boston, it's all because they have to figure out, what they want to do. Maybe try to get Krejci in here, and I think that's what the Bruins are waiting for right now. I think they're trying to lure Krejci back into the fold, and if they can't do that, then they're going to go elsewhere, and they have to do it relatively soon. And the stock on DeBrusque is climbing like crazy.
Yeah,
and
he's playing
so,
well. So it makes sense.
So that's what the bigger players are going to be off the board later. Defensemen, however, those guys could start once. If PK Subban and Chirot and Giordano, those guys start getting moved sooner. I think defensemen more likely sooner because of they want to see what they got.
Shore it up before they're gone.
Exactly. So I think the defensemen will be the first ones to go. Fleury could be probably in about a week, I'd say, because again, Washington is probably going to go after him.
Yeah.
I think that's the logical spot. Let's see if they have enough to get him.
To lure him, yeah.
That could be, that could be where the problem lies. Some other team might overpay for him, and then Washington could be out.
Yeah.
So then you could find Washington going after a player like Reamer.
Yeah.
And that would be a disaster for them, though.
So let's stay on the hockey for a second, and we're going to look at the Western Conference.
Yes.
And the East is pretty well set. When you look at the playoff picture, it's going to be extremely odd that the 8 teams that are in now aren't getting in.
Right, because Columbus is 9th, and they're 10 points behind.
Yeah. So it's pretty secure. The West, on the other hand, the current standings now, the Kings are in the 7th spot, correct? No. They're in the 6th spot, right? Or in 5th. They're in 5th. They're in 5th with 65 points. Edmonton is 6th with 64 points. Currently, the last 2 in for the wild card would be Nashville and Vegas at 64 points. So they're all tied, those 3. The next 3 teams are all within 4 points of the 8th place. Dallas is 63 points, Anaheim at 61, and Vancouver at 60. So if you're doing the math right now, what's that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 7 teams that are still alive just for the bottom half of the West.
And this is why I say JT Miller isn't going anywhere until they're clear of what they want to do.
Yeah. Are they again, they're in the playoff race. Why would
Right.
you get rid of one of your top players if you don't?
Right.
I looked at Vegas' third easiest schedule remaining. So, from a standpoint of probably being in, good shot. Dallas, fifth easiest. So, they're a team out right now only by a point. Dallas could sneak in.
Oh, they're
Edmonton,
not sneaking in. They're getting in.
Edmonton could fall out.
They're
Fifth
getting in.
hardest schedule remaining. Fifth hardest.
Yeah.
So Edmonton could be out unless they make a good move, like you said, defensively. Pick up a defenseman to shore that piece up. They have the scorers.
Yeah.
They have the scorers, right?
Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. And again, with Edmonton, they might be out of luck. Because like I don't know if they're going to get a piece that they need desperately. I mean, they still could work out something, but it's going to be hard because everybody's looking for those same pieces.
So you got Dallas
it's
in. Is Edmonton the team that's out?
I actually have Nashville out.
Nashville out. Okay.
So
seventh hardest schedule remaining. So they've got a tough stretch here.
Yeah. So I have Colorado, Calgary, St. Louis, Minnesota, LA, Edmonton in that order. And then I have Dallas getting that first wild card spot.
Okay.
And I have I have Vegas getting that last wild card spot.
So they leapfrog Vegas, but Vegas stays in. Okay.
Yeah, so like with Vegas, it's because of injuries right now.
Yeah.
Like they have Pacioretty out, they have Stone out. Now, when these guys come back, they're gonna have a problem because they're not gonna have enough space on the cap. So when Stone comes back, they're gonna have to trade somebody, and that player is probably Riley Smith.
Yeah.
Because they have to clear that much cap, and I think it's like $3 million plus. So they will have to trade Riley Smith, and it will most likely be for a draft pick. So that's why I have Vegas in that last spot because they got some problems right now.
Yeah.
And
it'll be interesting. It's going to be a fun end of the year for hockey.
Oh, absolutely. And they look
especially in the Western
against
Conference.
the
Listen, the East is just positioning at this point, but the West, there's so many crucial games that we're going to have to be paying attention to what's going on in the Western Conference.
Yeah, you look at Boston's record, and it's like, how are they in a wild card spot?
Yeah,
you put them in, put them in the Western Conference. They're winning that division or right behind Colorado.
Yeah, that's insane. That's insane. Let's go on to our face-off, my friend.
Okay.
This one, you're first this week, so we are going to decide which Boston team will advance further in the playoffs this season. The Boston Celtics or the Boston Bruins. Which team is going further in the playoffs? You get to pick first. So which team are you defending?
Okay, so this is what I need to know.
Okay.
Who are they currently scheduled to play in the playoffs?
4,
Celtics
5,
are what? Number 5?
Milwaukee right now. Yeah, so probably Milwaukee.
Okay.
Boston.
And the Bruins right now would be playing who? Is it Tampa Bay?
It's Tampa 2, right? Because Boston's 7, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
No, so it would be Florida, right? Because Carolina's first. I think Florida's second.
Oh, okay. Oh, yeah, that matters. So, all right. So with that, I would have to say the Bruins.
Okay, go.
And
you got your minute. Go ahead.
It's because of the fact that the Celtics will have to play Milwaukee. I don't see them beating Milwaukee. Look, I don't see the Bruins beating Florida. Either.
Well, there you go.
But
you're making my argument for me.
No. Wait. So they're both going out in the first round. Okay.
Now you're going to go 6 games versus 7 games?
Exactly.
No,
exactly.
Listen.
Exactly.
The Boston Celtics, we just said it. The only team I really fear in the East is probably the 76ers. They can beat any team
Out
any
of your
given
mind.
night. We
You're out
just
of your mind.
watched them. Listen, the Memphis Grizzlies, we thought was the one of the top 3 teams in the West, which is a much better conference, and the Boston Celtics just beat them by
Yeah.
15, 20
Yeah.
points.
Yep.
The Boston Celtics defensively are playing better than any team in basketball right now.
Right.
That wins in the playoffs.
Yep.
That wins in the playoffs. And you could sit here and say the Bruins are going to play 7 games, but I don't even know if they because these teams in the East are so much better than they are.
Okay,
in the West.
since January, the Bruins are second in the league in points, behind Colorado.
Yep.
So, you can play those numbers as any way you want, but if you look at the matchups, I don't see the Celtics being able to contain Milwaukee in a any series, whether it's 5 or 7.
Uh,
And I don't see the Bruins being able to do it either.
Listen, the coach, they've bought into Aduka now. They're playing defense. They're moving the ball. They are more efficient. This is what we expected the Boston Celtics to be for the last few years.
I get it, Eric. But we also don't know what the Bruins are going to do yet as far as, what they're going to bring in. And it's like right now you can't tell. Like comparing the two is almost impossible until we know their rosters.
Yeah,
like their playoff rosters.
I still say Celtics second round, Boston losing the first, Bruins losing the first round.
No, there's no way. I think they both lose in the first round, and
we'll see.
Because of the matchups.
We'll see. Clearly won that.
You did not win anything. No.
Pick and roll time, my friend. Pick and roll.
You're out of your mind. You think you win everything, and you
so in my mind
every single one.
So in my mind. Pick and roll time. Best segment on the show. We are going to do the greatest number 9s of all time since it's episode 9 of season 2. Really excited with these athletes: Drew Brees, Lisa Leslie, Ted Williams, Gordie Howe, and Bob Pettit. All phenomenal number 9s in their career, but we're going to rank them 5 through 1, 5 being the least of the 9, 1 being the best 9 of all time. Ron, you are up first.
All right. So we left out Maurice Richard.
Yeah.
From Montreal.
Yeah.
He didn't have a point per game. He fell 8 points short for a point per game.
Oh, stinks.
Yeah. And he's not even the good brother. He was the lesser brother. So he only won 8 championships. Henri Richard won 11.
Wow.
So we didn't have the good Richard to be in there. So we kind of left him out.
Gotcha. Number 5, my friend.
Look, number 5, to me, I don't even think this was close. I think I would actually put Maurice Richard in here rather than Drew Brees.
Yeah.
Drew Brees, 13 Pro Bowls, 1 championship. Did he win an MVP? He didn't win an MVP, did he?
No. 80,000 yards passing.
Yep.
171 touchdowns. So if you look at.
Yeah. The record, 172 and 14, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. Yes.
Those are great numbers.
Yeah.
But they don't compare to the other 4.
So you want the kicker real quick? The site that I get most of these from, he was ranked number 1.
I know. I saw that. I was like, what are they thinking?
Yeah, I don't know what.
How are you putting him ahead of the other 4?
Yeah.
And one of the people on this list wasn't even on it.
No. Ron always comes up. They're always looking for the best one. So we caught Lisa Leslie, which they didn't even have on the list.
No, I couldn't believe it. All right. So number 4, I have Bob Pettit. And he could have gone higher.
Right? It's just insane.
Okay, so his numbers in 792 games, 26.4 points, 16.2 boards.
Amazing.
And 3 assists Um, 11-time All-Star. He had two MVPs.
Yeah.
He's won 2 scoring titles.
Yeah.
And a Rookie of the Year, and 1 championship in the NBA. He also had one. What's the TRB? What is that?
It's a rebound champ, total rebound champ.
Okay, so I mean, these numbers, these are great numbers. I'm surprised he only had 11 All-Stars, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
So he's at number 4 for me. Number 3, I put Lisa Leslie. 363 games, 17.3 points per game, 9.1, and then 2.4 assists.
Yep.
8-time All-Star.
Yep.
2 championships. 3 MVPs. 3 MVPs. And the site that I was looking at didn't even have all the numbers.
Yep. 2-time Defensive Player of the Year as well.
Right.
And 2-time Finals MVP. So the 2 times she went to the finals.
Yeah. She's godlike.
Yep.
She's godlike. That is a WNBA legend right there.
Without
Lisa
a doubt.
Leslie. Without a doubt. Without even question. All right. Then it came to the top 2. And I had a real problem with this. In essence, I think Ted Williams is the better player. And that is saying a lot.
Yeah.
But I put him at number 2. And I'll tell you, I'll give you all the stats. 122.1 WAR. That's his WAR number. 122. Wins above replacement.
Yeah.
Home runs, 521. He only had 521.
Yeah.
344 batting average. Over 1,800 RBIs, over 2 shy of 1,800 runs. He won the Triple Crown not once, but twice.
Mm-hmm.
Twice.
Isn't that insane?
It's crazy. 6-time batting champion.
Yeah.
2-time MVP. 19 All-Stars. This man served in the war not once, but twice. He went on 2 tours. So when you put all those numbers, that 521, he lost out on several years because of fighting for his country.
Yeah.
The only problem, he didn't win a championship.
No ring. No
rings. This man is clearly the best number 9.
Yep.
But
the
fact he didn't have championships doesn't make him that.
Okay. I see where you're going.
And that was hard because I really want to put Ted Williams on the top.
Yeah, I know you would.
I really do. But number 1, I had to go with Gordie Howe.
Hockey guy, see, as usual.
Had nothing to do with a hockey guy. I was a baseball fan before a hockey fan.
Okay. Easy. I'm just saying.
1,700 plus games. This man is one of 2 players to get 800 goals. He had 801.
Mm-hmm.
1,049 assists.
Yes, sir.
He was a plus 160 for his career. Game-winning goals, 121 game-winning goals. He is responsible for 121 wins.
That's a season and a half. Game-winning goals.
That's insane.
Yeah.
That is insane because most players can get 2 or 3 in a year. That's 121. If you were getting 2 or 3 a year, that's a lot. That's 60 years.
That's a long time. Yeah. Oldest NHL player in history, then. Yes.
Yes, yes, and he actually is anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah, he played in like
So it's 50s,
5
right?
decades.
Yeah.
Yeah. So here's his other part of what he does: 21 All-Star games.
That was insane. I saw that. I was like, wow.
21 All-Star games, 6 scoring champs. Like,
Yep.
that's and 6 MVPs. 6 MVPs. All the others combined had 7, by the way.
Yeah.
He has won 4 Stanley Cups, and before he went into the National Hockey League,
Yep.
when his stats didn't count,
Yep.
he won 2 WHA championships,
Yep. I saw
which
that as
is
well.
what the merge was.
Yeah.
That's what he, and it. Look, these are numbers for days. Numbers for days. Like, you can make Ted Williams your number one if you wish to, and I'm okay with that. But I couldn't because of those championships. Like,
Yeah. No.
like I had a tough time even not putting Lisa Leslie ahead of him.
Yeah. So, my friend,
This is an incredible.
this was a great list. This was a great list. I'm going to tell you something. You don't hear it too often. You're right.
Yeah.
You nailed it. We have the exact same list. I saw it the same way you
it's
did.
happened that more often than what we.
Yeah, yes, it is. So, I did note Ted Williams, 6th all-time in batting average in Major League Baseball history. So you think about just the amount of players that have played the game. He's 6th all-time at 344.
Back then,
and Ty Cobb's the lead at 368, I think it was. Ty Cobb.
Ridiculous.
The guy almost batted 400 for his career.
That's insane. I know.
But Gordie Howe, 4th all-time in scoring.
Yeah.
As well. So just you talk about 2 players in those leagues eras in history.
Yeah.
Their names will always be mentioned. They're always going to be. By the time these guys fall out of the top 10, me and you will by far not be here.
This is true.
Right?
This is true.
So they are legends. The both of them. I love the fact that you came up with the Lisa Leslie thing. Because, again, she's an idol in the WNBA. I think she was one of the first women to dunk in a game.
Yeah.
And, just what she was able to do. And then Bob Pettit with that 16 rebounds. And I'm like, you don't even hear
I saw that, and I'm like, really?
26 and 16. Pretty damn impressive. And, again, Drew Brees, no slouch in his career, 80,000 yards. But out of these 5.
Eric, when you look at the numbers for Pettit, okay, you look at the league leaders this year. 11 rebounds leads the league.
Yeah.
11 per game.
Yeah.
He averaged in his career 16.
Yeah.
16.
So, just insane.
He's had years that it's been more than that. I mean, that's crazy.
Just a great pick and roll, my friend. That was really good. If you enjoy what you're watching, check us out every Friday night at 6 p.m. We are live. We are fan active. We are on Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, and Twitter. We are always live on Fridays at 6 p.m. You can follow us on social media at Sports Unfolded on Facebook and Twitter, at Broadcasting RI on Twitter, Sports_Unfolded on Instagram. Don't have time to watch? Listen to us on Amazon, Anchor, Google, Spotify, and now TuneIn. If you're in Southeast Connecticut, check us out, SEC-TV. That's Public Access Channel 12. We are on Tuesdays at 10 p.m. So if you're watching it now, check us out on Friday nights at 6 p.m. You can also follow us on Discord. So we have a couple of Discords. We have Sports Unfolded Discord. Right there is the link. We always post daily on that. And then also Rhode Island Broadcasting. So if you'd like to check out some of the other shows and see what else Rhode Island Broadcast has to offer, check them out on Discord there. If you'd like to sponsor the show, email us at ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. And you can sponsor our show for less than a cup of coffee. It's worth it. You'll have thousands of eyes on your business. You'd be able to be worldwide and also help Sports Unfolded continue to grow and do even more and do more for your business as well. So check us out. Email us, ribroadcasting.media@gmail.com. Ron, we are going to bring up our predictions, my friend, because we have had an interesting week. So I won last week, so I've gained a step here
A
in
game.
in the prediction. So I'm one game behind you.
Yeah,
But
I'm still not happy where I am though.
I was just saying, I was just talking about Coach K, and he won 76% of his games. We've been doing this for what, 2 months? And we can't even crack
Yeah,
50.
but to be honest and to be fair to us, we are picking games that are two good teams all
Yeah,
the time.
yeah,
So there's no clear who wins what game, you know? Like we are not putting, like Milwaukee versus Detroit here, you know?
yeah, yeah. No,
That's not what we do.
we're definitely doing the
So,
cream of the crop. But that's how we stand currently. Let's see how we do this week, and you'll lead off, and then I'll do the second match. We'll rotate through 3-5. Got the Calgary Flames at the Colorado Avalanche.
Colorado's at home. I think they're the better team. I think, because of some losses here and there, I think Colorado knows how important this game is, as does Calgary.
Yeah,
But I think Colorado knows that they have to prove to everybody that they are the team to beat. And I think Colorado playing at home is going to want to display that at home to their fans against probably the only contender right now in the West.
yeah.
So I'm going Colorado.
I have to agree with you. Colorado at home, again, Western Conference. I think Colorado is going to want to prove a point that they're the elite in the West and at home. So they're gonna go all out on that game. 3-7, L.A. Kings at the Boston Bruins. To your point, second since January, Boston in points scored. I think the team has finally turned that corner. Swayman has been
Oh my
remarkable. So again, if I'm hoping he's playing, which they said they're going to give him more time between the pipes. I'm going Boston here. I just think the Bruins at home are going to be able to take LA from a West Coast and be able to take them out.
Yeah, I agree with you also. Look, LA just got trounced by the Bruins. I don't see anything changing except for maybe one or two less goals.
Yeah,
I got a feeling that, LA is a little overmatched with the Eastern Conference teams.
yeah,
And they're a product of the West, unfortunately. So I go Boston.
agree. 3-8. New York Rangers at the Minnesota Wild.
Okay, so these are two teams that seem to like stay right there, in the standings. They're not, you know, overtaking anybody. They're not,
Yeah,
losing ground on anybody. But these are two teams that are going in towards the trade deadline, and they both have something to prove. Because I think in a lot of cases, the players that they're seeking are going to be a lot of the same. And, the Rangers need a victory on the road. They got to stop playing, great hockey against good teams on the
yeah,
road because they need to figure out what they do
yeah,
need and if they are going to go all in. Minnesota, it's a smaller market.
yeah.
They're playing at home. There's a little bit of comfort zone there. Um, I think the Rangers come in and they take it to them, and I think the Rangers are going to win.
I circled the Rangers already. I agree with you. I think the Rangers win that game. 3-5. Philadelphia 76ers at the Miami Heat. I've obviously told you how much I love the 76ers, so the obvious choice would be the Sixers in this. I'm going Miami at home because they seem to play up to the competition and have beaten the very good teams and lost to bad teams. And they sat some players this week to give them some rest so that a lot of these guys will be, raring to go, including Jimmy Butler. I'm going Miami at home.
Yeah, I went total opposite direction on this one. I don't know. I just think the addition that 76ers just made is going to
Yep.
make a big difference in this one. I don't think the Miami bench is going to be able to handle it, and I think Philadelphia takes this one.
Okay. All right. 3-6 Brooklyn Nets at the Boston Celtics.
God,
Kyrie will be in. Durant's back.
I'm going to go. I'm going to go Brooklyn. I'm going to go Brooklyn. Ah, look,
I haven't circled yet. I want to go Boston so bad, but every time I have, they've let me down.
yeah,
And
I
every
don't do
time I
well
go,
with
this
the
is it.
Celtics. I don't do well with
I'm go-
Celtics, so
I'm
and I
going.
haven't done well with Brooklyn either. So that's the hesitation. I
I'm
don't
going to
think
go Brooklyn as well. I
I
think
haven't got a
Kyrie.
Boston one right, and I'm like 1-4 with
Yeah,
Brooklyn.
yeah. I'm going Brooklyn as well. 3-6 Phoenix at Milwaukee. Obviously, Chris Paul not being on the Suns. Booker is in the protocol, but yet they came out and they blew out the last opponent they faced. But I feel like the Bucks need to start to play better basketball. I think they understand the urgency of it. They were at home. I'm going Milwaukee.
Yeah, I have Milwaukee circled. It wasn't even a question. Even if Booker was going to be playing, I would still take Milwaukee in this situation. Look, Milwaukee is turning on that playoff button,
Yeah.
and they know that they can take the conference and then have a nice, easier ride. Uh, so they are going to turn it on, and I
All
think
right.
it's going to start right
Nice.
here.
All right. I like it. I like it. I like it. 3-5. So tomorrow night, big UFC 272 matchup. Former best friends, Colby Covington versus Jorge Masvidal. Who do you got? Oh, is it my turn? Is it my turn? No, it's your turn.
No, it's
It
my
is
turn.
your turn, my
Um,
friend.
i- is this their what fight is this with them two?
This is their
It's their first one, right?
first one, welterweight. They were former sparring partners, and then just basically came up the ranks, and something went bad somewhere.
Um, hmm. I'm gonna go with Colby Covington because anybody that has a name Colby,
I like
uh,
where you're basing this
he
on. That's awesome.
he has to be tough.
So Colby
Because
Covington, yeah,
he just doesn't sound like the name sounds like some guy in an office building
yeah.
somewhere, you know, trying to figure out how to send a rocket into space or something. So I think he'd have to be a little tougher,
Yeah. Colby
just
Covington,
because.
honestly, is a more pure fighter. Does a lot of the wrestling. Jorge Masvidal is a big hit, big punch guy. If he gets
Right.
you, if he catches him early, he could
Yeah.
win. But I'm going Covington as well. The younger fighter, uh, so a little less wear and tear on this. So we got one different, and that'll be the Philadelphia Miami game. We'll keep an eye on that
So when is the Duke North Carolina game?
tomorrow night. Tomorrow night. North Carolina's horrible. I think they blew them up by 40 the last time Duke played.
Oh Jesus! Okay.
It's not even. Yeah, it's not even worth. Hence why we didn't do it.
Yeah.
So as we normally do, how we end our show, we do our final thought. Doesn't necessarily have to be about anything sports related. It can be about anything going on in the world today. Judging by your face, Ron, you're not quite sure what your final thought is. But you are first this week, my friend. So have at it.
Okay. All right. So my final thought is going out to all of these companies, leagues, countries that have all started to not band together, but they are banding together.
Yeah.
Russia and for all these various leagues and things. Um, it's it's funny that it took Russia to invade a country and has all these countries now banding together and uniting for a cause. It it would it would be nice and wonderful to see this as an everyday thing from here on out. So that way we can just begin to do the right things
Yeah.
to people as a whole and to countries. So that way we don't have anything like this happen again. And I commend all these leagues and stuff that are doing this, and as long as you're doing it for the right reasons, not because of your self,
Yeah.
preservation or any sort of numbers. It should be done for the right reasons. So I like how everybody's getting united over it. Um, it would be nice if certain other big countries like China would would also participate in all of this. But it is what it is, and hopefully we can all move on and everybody
Yeah.
becomes safe.
Yeah. It's right. Work together, be a better world. No, great point, Ron.
Exactly.
I'm going to throw out some numbers for you. My final thought first: 27.5 points a game, 7.9 rebounds, 8.3 assists. Why does that have some bearing? Because my final thought is on Caitlin Clark, sophomore, 6 foot sophomore from Iowa, women's basketball. If you have not seen this young lady play, phenomenal player, exciting, shoots like Steph Curry, half courts. I mean, it doesn't matter. We don't give credit enough to the women's NCAA tournament and some of these players that are out there. Then they don't have the same luxuries as the men to come out as sophomores. They've got to wait till their senior years before they can go to the pros. Start to pay attention to some of these players because they are phenomenal players. I am in Connecticut, and Paige Becker is one of the top players in the country. And her being out, you could see how it affected that UConn team. These players are special. We don't take enough time to enjoy them, watch them, and pay attention to that tournament. There's 2 tournaments going to happen in March. There's the men's, there's the women's. Check out the women's tournament because there is some phenomenal players. If you look at those numbers, I put those up against any man playing in those tournaments this upcoming March.
And fundamentals.
And fundamentals, so much better. But
Yes, they
I just
are.
wanted to bring up the fact that they don't get enough credit. Last year, they had sent the pictures of the locker rooms and how their training facilities were so much different than the men. Stop. Appreciate these women for what they do and how
That's right.
special they really are. And that's my final thought.
Yeah,
Ron?
and everybody has a chance this summer to go further and support the WNBA, especially if baseball is not going to be around.
Yeah. No, great point.
I know I'm going to be watching.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Even if there is baseball.
Yeah. So excited. Great show tonight, man. Thank you so much. What a great show we've had today. Everybody that's joined, Dan, Manny, Stream, thanks for the pizza time. Sorry. Thanks for the bits. A great show today. We'll be back on Friday at 6 p.m. Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, or Twitter. Check us out live. And our rankings will be out on Monday. So NHL and NBA
vote.
rankings. And vote today. Last day to vote. Get your votes in. Do not forget to vote for your top athletes of the 80s to today. Ron, appreciate your time, brother. Great show. Fans out there that are watching live, we appreciate you. Fans that are going to be watching later on, always a pleasure. Support us. Thank you so much. Peace.